Okay, so this is what we did for our CLC1. We created the database social media. And so for the first table that we made was profile with the columns profile ID, first name, last name, date of birth, age, and marital status. And then so we set our primary key to be profile ID since that will show up in a later table. And then we inserted data from a data generator to give some more data to our individual columns. And then the next table we created was posts with columns post ID, stories, timeline, recommended. And then we created the primary key for that as post ID. And then once again, we inserted data from a data generator. And then we once again created, this time we created a table called relationship. And we had the column set to relationship ID, family, friends, significant other. And then we had our primary key set as relationship ID. And so we got data from this from a relationship, we created data for this for relationship from a data generator as well.
And then for our fourth table, we call it user status. And for the columns, we named it user status ID, about, friends, and photos. And for our primary key, we set it as user ID. And then we inserted data from the generate data website. And then our next table that we created is called games. And then for our columns, we used my games, game type, friends. And for our primary key, we used my games, and then we referenced it. We used a foreign key, and we referenced it to user status, column friends. And then our next table is called messages. Our column names for messages is recent, message requests, direct message, and our primary key is recent. And we didn't insert data to these tables yet.
So this is a visual representation of our database with each of its tables. So as you can see, profile is connected to user status through a primary key. And so the primary key for profile would be ID, and then in user status, we have the ID as a foreign key. And so the same thing can be said as for user status being connected to relationship through a primary and foreign key, and user status in games being connected through a primary and foreign key as well. We have two tables that are not connected to the others. This is primarily due to they're not sharing any columns that have the same value types.